The atmosphere in the grand meeting room was electric. Alien representatives from all corners of the galaxy gathered together in one place, their eyes fixed on Earth's delegation. Earth had never been invited to such an important gathering before, and it had taken years of preparation to even secure a seat at the table. This wasn't just any meeting. This was the moment when Earth would reveal its place among the stars, its new standing in the galactic order. The room was filled with powerful beings, towering and strange, speaking in languages that hummed with authority. The air buzzed with energy, and even the most powerful of them were cautious, wondering what Earth had up its sleeve. Among them stood a figure dressed in a simple, yet striking suit, human but calm. The human diplomat, standing at the head of the table, was the one who would speak for Earth. This diplomat had been chosen for their ability to keep cool under pressure, a trait that was about to be put to the ultimate test. The Council's attention was intense, as the beings from various worlds waited for Earth to reveal its plan. The silence grew heavy as the diplomat stepped forward, adjusting the microphone in front of them. The representative began to speak in a voice that was steady, yet with an undertone of something much deeper. "Thank you for your patience," the diplomat said, their words echoing in the quiet room. "For centuries, Earth has been watching, learning, and preparing for this day. We've been given the chance to stand beside you, and we do not take that lightly. What we are about to share with you is not just a vision, it is the future of this galaxy, and of our kind." As the diplomat spoke, the other leaders exchanged uncertain glances. No one had expected such a speech. Earth had always been considered a young, unimportant species, one to be ignored or even laughed at. Their planet, a small, insignificant dot in the vast universe, had never been a serious player in the eyes of the other alien races. But now, as Earth's representative spoke, something about the diplomat's voice made them pause. This wasn't just any speech. This was something bigger. The diplomat paused for a moment, allowing their words to settle in the air before continuing. Earth has had the privilege of watching civilizations rise and fall. We've seen empires crumble, seen countless worlds battle for supremacy, and we've learned from each and every one of you. But we are not here to be just another ally. We are here because Earth has made a decision that will change the fate of every being in this room. At that moment, the diplomat reached into a small device on the table, and a hologram flickered to life. It was a map of the galaxy, but not just any map. This one showed not only Earth's position, but also the locations of every major alien civilization in the galaxy. The map pulsed with light, a constant reminder of the vastness of the universe and the interconnectedness of the beings within it. The diplomat's voice dropped, becoming even more serious. For the past several decades, Earth has been secretly advancing technology that will allow us to shift the balance of power in this galaxy. We've developed weapons, technology, and strategies that no one else has. You've all underestimated us. But today that ends. There was a sharp intake of breath across the room. The aliens, usually so confident in their superiority, exchanged glances filled with unease. What was this? The humans had always been known for their cleverness and resourcefulness, but no one had ever thought them capable of this. As the diplomat continued to speak, the aliens began to realize that Earth wasn't just a small, insignificant planet anymore. They had been preparing, quietly and carefully, for this very moment. The diplomat slowly paced across the room, each word carrying the weight of centuries of careful planning. "We have built weapons powerful enough to challenge any force in the galaxy. We have developed technologies that could easily dismantle fleets far more powerful than any you possess. But these weapons, these technologies, they are not for war. They are for something much more important: control." The word echoed in the minds of the alien leaders. Control. The word that no one ever expected to hear from a human. Control meant power. Power meant dominance. And Earth was saying that it had both now. The tension in the room thickened as the aliens began to process the information. Some were shocked, some were furious, but all were afraid. They had thought Earth was weak, naive, and unprepared. But now, standing before them, was a new Earth, a force to be reckoned with. The diplomat allowed a brief silence to linger before adding, "The plan we are about to share with you is not just for Earth's survival. It is for the survival of this galaxy. We are offering you a choice. You can join us in this new era, a new order where we work together for the common good, or you can stand against us. But understand this, Earth will no longer be a passive observer. We will no longer wait in the shadows. The future belongs to us, and we are willing to do what it takes to secure it." The room was silent. The alien representatives were still processing the weight of what they had just heard. The power dynamics had shifted, and as the diplomat finished speaking, they knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The question was no longer if Earth could survive. The question was whether the rest of the galaxy could. As the diplomat finished speaking, the room remained unnervingly silent. The alien representatives were in shock, each one struggling to process what had just been revealed. The calm, steady voice of the Earth diplomat had shaken their very foundations. What had been a carefully guarded secret for centuries was now out in the open. Earth had developed weapons and technology beyond anything they could have imagined. But what did that truly mean? One of the alien leaders, a tall being with shimmering blue skin and antennae, stood up slowly. His expression was unreadable, but his voice was sharp, tinged with disbelief. "You speak of weapons," he said, "but do you truly believe you can challenge us? We have armies, fleets, and weapons that have been honed over millennia. What could your advanced technology possibly do against us?" His words were laced with a mixture of arrogance and uncertainty. The diplomat didn't flinch. "You misunderstand," they said calmly. "We are not here to wage war on you. What we've developed is not for conquest. It is for control. We want to create a new balance of power, one where war is not necessary, because all factions are under a single guiding order. Our technology will bring peace, not through fear, but through an undeniable, unbreakable force." The room grew even more tense. The alien leaders exchanged looks, some murmuring to each other in a language too fast for any human to understand. The diplomat's words weren't just a warning. They were a challenge, an offer they couldn't ignore. Control. The idea of Earth, a once weak and insignificant planet, wielding the power to dictate the future of the galaxy was unfathomable. Another alien, a small insectoid creature with glowing green eyes, stood up next. "Control over what?" it hissed. "You are not the first to make such claims. There are countless civilizations that have tried to dominate others, and those who fail fall just as quickly as they rise." The diplomat's eyes narrowed, but their voice remained even. "You're right. We're not the first to think about this. But we're different. We've studied your failures, your weaknesses, and your strengths. We know what it takes to succeed where others have failed." A screen flickered to life behind the diplomat, showing a stunning hologram of Earth's latest weapon. A sleek, metallic structure, gleaming with ominous power. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a network of advanced technologies, integrated in a way that no alien force had ever seen. There were no visible cannons or missiles, but the energy radiating from the structure was palpable, a power that could not be ignored. "This is not just a weapon. It is a system," the diplomat explained. "One that can be deployed across the galaxy to control, to influence, and to ensure that peace reigns. Our weapon can disable fleets, prevent invasions, and protect our planet from any threat. More importantly, it can bring peace to the entire galaxy by ensuring no force ever grows too powerful again." The alien leaders looked on, some with furrowed brows, others with expressions of outright disbelief. How had Earth done this? They had never known humanity to be so innovative, so capable of creating something so sophisticated. For a brief moment, they were united in one thought. Earth had just rewritten the rules of the galaxy. Their assumptions about the humans had been all wrong. "I know what you're thinking," the diplomat continued, sensing their doubt. "How can we trust you? How can we believe you won't use this power to enslave us, to dominate us as others have tried before? The truth is, you have no choice but to trust us. The technology is already in place. Our plan is already set into motion. You can choose to align with us, or you can choose to fight, but the outcome will be the same. The silence in the room deepened, and the air seemed to grow heavier with every passing second. The alien representatives were not fools. They had seen empires rise and fall. They had witnessed the destruction of entire species, the collapse of great powers that once thought themselves invincible. But this was different. The humans were offering something they hadn't expected. An opportunity to join them, to be a part of something larger, to be safe under their protection. The choice was clear, but the consequences of that choice were terrifying. One of the more skeptical leaders, a being made of shifting shadows, spoke up, their voice slow and calculating. We are being asked to trust you, humans, to surrender our power and submit to your control. But can we truly believe that you have no hidden agenda? Can we believe that you will not eventually turn on us once you have secured your place as the dominant force in the galaxy? The diplomats smiled faintly, but there was no humor in their expression. The only agenda we have is survival. The survival of Earth. The survival of this galaxy. If you cannot see that, then perhaps you are blind to what is coming. At that, the room fell completely silent. The weight of the diplomat's words hung in the air, thick and heavy. They had not just revealed a powerful new weapon, they had revealed a future that no one had anticipated. Earth, once weak and insignificant, had now positioned itself at the center of the galaxy. And the alien leaders, powerful as they were, had no choice but to listen, to understand the implications of this new order. For the first time in centuries, Earth was no longer an afterthought. It was a force to be reckoned with. The question was no longer if Earth could survive, but whether the rest of the galaxy could. The alien representatives, now faced with a stark reality, had only one thing left to consider. Would they accept Earth's offer, or would they try to fight back against the rising power of a world they had once underestimated? The air in the room was thick with tension, the weight of the diplomat's words hanging heavy in the silence. The alien leaders were still processing what they had just heard, their minds racing to make sense of Earth's sudden rise in power. Some exchanged whispers, while others stood motionless, trying to read the expressions of their fellow leaders. The diplomat had made their intentions clear. Earth wasn't just here to join the Galactic Council. They were here to lead, to reshape the power structure of the entire galaxy. A large reptilian creature with jagged scales and glowing orange eyes slammed its fist on the table, the sound echoing throughout the chamber. "This is an insult," it roared. "You dare come here and demand that we bow to you? After all we've built, after all we've achieved, you expect us to simply hand over control to you?" The room quivered under the force of the outburst. The alien's voice was thunderous, filled with anger and disbelief. The other alien leaders seemed hesitant to speak, unsure of how to react. But the reptilian leader was determined to voice his outrage. The diplomat, however, remained calm. "We are not asking you to bow. We are offering you a choice. Join us in a new era or stand against us. There will be no middle ground." The reptilian creature's eyes flared with fury. "And what if we choose to stand against you? Will you destroy us all with your fancy technology?" it growled. Without missing a beat, the diplomat nodded slowly. "If it comes to that, yes, we will. But that is not our first choice. We prefer peace, and we are offering you a chance to be a part of it. You have your fleets, your weapons, and your power. But we have something you do not: the will to ensure that peace and order remain in the galaxy for everyone." The alien leader's face twisted in contempt. "You speak of peace, yet your very words are a threat. You expect us to trust you after you reveal that you are capable of destroying us all." The diplomat's voice was steady, yet the undercurrent of authority was undeniable. "This is not a threat. It is a reality. We have the power to reshape the galaxy, and we will do so whether you choose to stand with us or against us. The choice is yours." The reptilian leader narrowed its eyes, its teeth bared. "You would destroy us all for your vision of peace." It spat, his voice dripping with disdain. The diplomat paused before responding, their gaze steady and unwavering. "We would do what is necessary. If it means a better future for all, then yes. We will destroy what stands in our way. But we are not your enemies. You can still choose peace. You can join us in this new era of order, or you can resist and face the consequences." The words seemed to strike a chord with the other alien leaders, who were now growing more divided. Some seemed ready to challenge Earth's sudden rise, their pride and power too great to accept submission. But others, quieter and more contemplative, began to question their own stance. Could they risk angering a species with such overwhelming power? Could they afford to stand against Earth when it had already proven that it could challenge anything they had built? A smaller alien, a creature with wings made of shimmering crystals, spoke up, its voice quiet but laced with curiosity. "But what if we don't want peace in the way you envision it? What if we prefer to remain independent, to rule our own territories as we always have?" The diplomat turned their attention to the crystal-winged leader, a flicker of understanding in their eyes. "That is your choice. But understand that Earth's vision of peace is one where all factions work together, not against one another. An era where the chaos of endless wars is no more. In our plan, there is no room for division or destruction. There is only the promise of stability." The crystal-winged leader was silent for a moment, clearly intrigued but still uncertain. "And if we reject your vision? If we choose to fight?" The diplomat didn't flinch. "If you choose to fight, we will not hesitate to defend ourselves. We have been preparing for this moment, and we will not back down. But make no mistake, Earth's rise is inevitable. You can fight, but you will lose. The question is whether you want to lose as enemies or gain as allies." There was a long pause as the room absorbed this chilling ultimatum. The tension in the air was unbearable. Some leaders looked at the hologram once more, at the displays of Earth's advanced technology and weapons, and the full weight of the situation settled in. Their pride, their power, none of it mattered against the force Earth had just unleashed. And yet there was still a group who were unwilling to accept what the diplomat had said. They couldn't stomach the idea of yielding to a species they had once considered beneath them. They had spent centuries carving their place in the galaxy, earning their power. To give it up, even for peace, felt like an unbearable loss. As if sensing the division growing in the room, the diplomat's voice rang out once more, strong and resolute. "We don't want your power or your status. We want your cooperation. We want to build something greater together. But if you refuse, we will be forced to act. Choose wisely." The room was still. The decision was now in their hands. Would they accept Earth's offer of peace with its promises of a new era, or would they stand against a force that could wipe them out without a second thought? The stakes had never been higher. And as the minutes ticked by, it was clear that this meeting would not end in simple negotiations. It would mark the beginning of a new chapter for the galaxy, one where the balance of power had already shifted, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The silence in the room stretched on, broken only by the soft hum of the advanced technology around them. The alien leaders were torn, their minds battling between pride, fear, and uncertainty. They had never expected Earth to rise so quickly, to challenge them in such a bold and undeniable way. The diplomat had given them a choice, but that choice felt like a trap. Accept Earth's offer, and they risked losing their power, their autonomy, and perhaps even their culture. Refuse, and they faced the very real possibility of total destruction. The reptilian leader, still seething with anger, was the first to break the silence. "We will not be intimidated," he growled, his scales bristling with hostility. "We've fought wars that have lasted centuries, and we've seen civilizations rise and fall. If you think you can crush us with your shiny toys, you are gravely mistaken. The diplomat's expression remained calm, but there was a flicker of something more dangerous in their eyes. "I don't need to intimidate you," they said quietly. "I simply need you to understand. Earth's technology is not just a weapon. It's a system, a means of ensuring stability. It's something the galaxy has never seen before, and it's something you cannot ignore. You don't have the luxury of choice anymore. This is no longer just about Earth. It's about the future of the galaxy." A murmur ran through the alien leaders, a ripple of uncertainty spreading among them. They had all heard the stories, the whispers of Earth's rapid technological advancements, but to see it laid out in front of them, to realize just how far humanity had come, was something none of them had truly grasped until now. The idea of a planet they had once considered weak and insignificant becoming the center of power was enough to make even the most seasoned leaders uneasy. The insectoid leader, whose glowing green eyes had been suspiciously silent up until now, finally spoke. "You speak of a new era, of peace, but how can we trust you? How can we be sure that once we bow to your control, you won't turn against us, just like every other empire that's tried to dominate the galaxy before you?" The diplomat's gaze locked onto the insectoid leader, their voice cold and measured. "You cannot trust us," they said bluntly. "But you don't have to. Trust is a luxury. What you must understand is that resistance is futile. You can fight, but you will lose. We have calculated every possible outcome, and the end result is always the same. Earth will rise. It's only a matter of how you choose to play your part in it." The words were a hard truth, and they hit the alien leaders like a physical blow. There was no hiding from it. The galaxy was changing, and they had to decide whether they would adapt or be left behind. Another leader, a towering figure with skin like molten rock, stood up. His deep, rumbling voice reverberated throughout the room. "You speak of inevitability," he said, his eyes narrowing. "But what you don't understand is that we are not like you. We have stood the test of time. We've survived galactic wars, natural disasters, and the collapse of entire empires. We will not be cowed by your threats." The diplomat nodded slowly, as if expecting this response. "And yet you've been caught off guard," they said softly. "The universe has a way of changing, even when you least expect it. You survived because you were strong, but strength alone is not enough anymore. The galaxy is evolving, and Earth is evolving with it. We are not asking you to surrender. We are asking you to accept that Earth has already secured its place as the new power in this galaxy. We are offering you a chance to be a part of that future, or to be crushed under it." The alien leaders shifted uncomfortably, their pride and fear warring within them. Some of them began to speak quietly among themselves, their voices barely audible over the tension in the room. The reptilian leader, though still defiant, had become less certain. Even he could not deny the reality of what the diplomat had said. Earth's rise was no longer a theory. It was happening, right before their eyes. The insectoid leader's wings fluttered as it spoke again, its voice almost reluctant. "You say you offer peace, but what if we do not want your peace? What if we do not want to be part of your vision?" The diplomat's face softened slightly, but there was no pity in their expression. "Then you will remain in the past, fighting against something you cannot defeat. We are offering you more than peace. We are offering you a future, a chance to thrive under a new order. But if you reject that, you will face extinction." There was a long pause, and for a moment, the room seemed frozen in time. The alien leaders were now fully aware that their choices were limited. They could accept Earth's offer, take their place in the new order, and join a future that seemed uncertain but full of possibility. Or they could fight, resist, and risk everything. The weight of the decision pressed down on them all. Finally, it was the crystal-winged leader who spoke, its voice quieter than the others, but resolute. "We need more time to consider," it said. "This is not something we can decide in haste." The diplomat nodded. "You have until the end of this meeting. After that, the choice will be made for you." The room fell into a tense silence again, but this time, The silence was different. It wasn't the quiet of confusion or disbelief. It was the silence of leaders weighing the most important decision of their lives. The future of the galaxy was on the line, and whatever they decided, the consequences would be felt across the stars. The diplomat had made their offer clear. Now it was up to the alien leaders to decide. Would they embrace the new era, or would they stand against it? The future was in their hands, but time was running out. The tension in the room was palpable as the alien leaders continued to deliberate. Each one was trapped in their thoughts, caught between the fear of Earth's overwhelming power and the pride of their own empires. They had fought for centuries, built their civilizations from nothing, and now they were being asked to either join Earth's new order or face extinction. The decision weighed heavily on them, but one thing was clear: whatever choice they made, the galaxy would never be the same again. The reptilian leader, still seething with fury, was the first to break the silence. "You think you've won, don't you?" he hissed. "You think because you have power, you have the right to dictate how the galaxy should run. You may have advanced technology, but you don't understand what it means to rule, to command respect." The diplomat's gaze remained steady, unshaken by the reptilian leader's outburst. "I don't need respect," they replied calmly. "I need cooperation. Earth's vision is not about domination. It's about unity. If you choose to fight, then we will fight. But we are not your enemies. We are offering a chance to build something greater, something that will benefit all of us." The reptilian leader narrowed his eyes, but before he could respond, the crystal-winged leader spoke up, its voice soft but firm. "We have listened to you, and while your words are difficult to accept, there is some truth to them. Perhaps we have underestimated Earth's strength. Perhaps we've spent too long in our own isolation, too proud of our own histories, to see the future unfolding before us." The insectoid leader, who had remained quiet for most of the meeting, nodded slowly. "We've been given a choice, one that could change everything for us. But this isn't just about Earth's power. It's about survival. The galaxy is evolving, and we must decide whether to move forward or be left behind." The molten rock leader spoke next, his voice thunderous. "We've always been the ones who decide our fate. No one has ever dictated our future for us, and we will not be the first to bow to another species. We may have been caught off guard, but we will not be intimidated." The diplomat's expression hardened slightly, but their voice remained calm. "No one is asking you to bow. No one is asking you to abandon your pride. But the reality is simple. The galaxy is changing, and Earth will lead that change. You can join us, or you can resist. But if you resist, understand this: Earth will not hesitate to ensure its future. We will not allow anyone to stand in the way of what is inevitable." The room fell silent once more, the weight of the diplomat's words sinking in. The alien leaders exchanged uncertain glances, some filled with anger, others with fear. The reality of Earth's power had set in, and no amount of defiance could erase the truth that was now before them. The crystal-winged leader took a deep breath, its wings shimmering with a soft, almost ethereal glow. "We have made our decision," it said quietly, but with a newfound determination. "We will not fight you. We will join you, but only on one condition: we maintain our sovereignty. Our people, our cultures, our ways of life will not be erased. We will work together, but we will not become part of your empire." The insectoid leader added, "We too agree. Earth's vision may be the future, but we will not be subsumed by it. We will join, but we will remain independent." The molten rock leader, though still hesitant, spoke next. "I will follow the will of my people. If they agree, then I will too. But we will not forget that we are still our own. If Earth forgets that, we will remind you." The diplomat's face softened slightly, their tone still firm, but with a hint of approval. "That is all we ask. Cooperation, not submission. We understand your desire to retain your sovereignty. Earth's vision is not about control. It's about unity and stability. Together, we can create something far greater than any of us could achieve alone. The reptilian leader stood still for a moment, his mind clearly torn. His pride was a barrier, and the idea of surrendering to Earth's rise was nearly unbearable. But in the end, he knew he had no choice. He looked around the room at the other leaders, their faces showing a mixture of resignation and determination. Finally, the reptilian leader spoke, his voice quieter, but still filled with defiance. "We will not submit to your rule, but we will work with you for the survival of our people." The diplomat nodded, a slight smile tugging at the corner of their lips. "That is all we need. You have chosen to be part of the future, and together, we will build a new galaxy." The leaders of the alien factions had made their choice. It was not a decision made lightly, and it was one that would forever change the course of history. Earth's place in the galaxy was secured, not through war, but through the power of its vision and determination. The age of chaos, of endless conflict between alien empires, was coming to an end. The future was being shaped by those who understood that peace, not power, was the true key to survival. As the leaders slowly rose from the table, the weight of their decision hanging in the air, the diplomat watched them with a sense of quiet triumph. Earth had succeeded, not by overwhelming its enemies, but by offering a new path, a path that even the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy could not ignore. And as the meeting came to a close, the diplomat's final words echoed through the chamber. "The galaxy has a new future. It's up to all of us to decide how we walk into it."